My father, Bob, now a retired home builder, worked for decades out of an office on Snelling Avenue in St. Paul. Thousands of times, he got up in the morning, got in his car, and drove to work at the office. Once in a while, my dad and I would go somewhere together, one place or another, maybe Starkman's Pharmacy at Highland Drug or a specialty hardware store. We'd get in his car and drive straight to his office. Dad, where are we going? Sometimes we are so used to following our route that we go that way even when we meant to go somewhere else. I would like to take a look at a little matter of our liturgy. Tiny changes are made in the wording of our prayers during the Yamim Noraim, the days of awe. Those changes aren't big, they are really so small. You might think such a thing wouldn't matter at all, but those tiny changes can provide an insight into what is needed to change you. Let me explain what those changes are and how they can change you. One tiny change is in the Kaddish. We add just one word, le-eila, exalted. The usual phrase, le-eila min-kol birchata, exalted beyond blessings, is made superlative by doubling the word le-eila, comparable to the English usage far, far away or much, much too much. And the words min-kol are contracted to min-kol, which is like an English contraction that does not change the meaning at all. It just makes it sound a teeny bit shorter. There are also a few places where the phrase Ha'el HaKadosh, Holy God, is replaced with HaMelech HaKadosh, Holy Sovereign, emphasizing God's position as outranking any earthly ruler. A change of just one word. There are also a few passages added to the Amidah that express the theme of the season, such as Zochreinu l'chaim, remember us for life, or B'sefer HaChaim, inscribe us in the book of life. It has always been perfectly permissible and even commendable to elaborate on the Amidah, to add personal, seasonal, and timely pleadings to the body of that central prayer. But there is a long-standing rule that says one must not change the language of the first three and last three blessings. The first and last three blessings should be recited word for word as prescribed and should not be varied. The only exception being these additions during the days of repentance. Here is how these tiny changes might impact us. First, of course, is the actual content, the meaning, which reinforces and elaborates on the themes of the season, God as the highest leader, our desire to be written in the book of life, and the rest. But the hidden meaning, the punch, is structural. With the Kaddish, le-eila, le-eila, all we did there is add one word and contract another word by dropping a weak letter. The same for substituting melech, sovereign, for el, God. As it turns out, the instructions in most prayer books are so confusing that unless you know what to do, unless you know how to do it, you won't get it right. More, you've recited or heard Kaddish more than 2,000 times during the year if you've attended all of our services, and if you're over 50, then it's been like 100,000 times, and you know it by heart, even though you don't speak Judeo-Aramaic. Kaddish is not even in Hebrew. And you can say it in your sleep. And now you are asked to make two tiny changes. And even when the rabbi, that's me, reminds the precentor and then announces to everyone right before Kaddish, we still get it wrong. And when I'm the prayer leader, and as rabbi, I alert the congregation to this change, I still get it wrong. It's only 30 seconds later that we get to that phrase, I still get it wrong. I'm becoming like my father driving to work. With the Amidah, we say it only 1,000 times a year in the opening and closing passages where we are specifically supposed to use the exact existing wording and not supposed to make any changes. Suddenly, for 10 days, we're supposed to add or substitute phrases. Again, no matter how many times we alert people, we still get it wrong. We try so hard to say it word for word exactly all year long, to not change the wording, and then suddenly we're supposed to change it, and we can't. This structure of change, this way of thinking, the structure of change in prayer provides a lesson for change in our behavior in other realms. Even tiny change can be difficult. Because it is difficult, it seems like big change, but it is really quite small. In order to make change, it is not enough to simply say, I'll change it. You must move subconscious, rote, routine behavior to the forefront of your mind. You have to be aware, conscious, conscientious. You have to pay attention, be intentional, be mindful of what you're doing. You have to notice. You have to wake up and hear the shofar. The Yamim Noraim make us take notice to what we are doing. Stop, take a look, evaluate, decide where you want to go, and then make a course correction. You are not a terrible person. You are a good person who just needs to make small changes to your behavior, your attitude, your life. I don't want you to become a different person. I want you to be you. It's a tough job, but someone's got to do it. The same for me, the same for the Becky community, the same for our country. This season, things are not going as usual. Everything is disrupted. Everything is changed. This is your invitation, your opportunity to use this disruption creatively. Get back on the right track. Those tiny changes, little bumps, wake us up. And now, those big bumps should make us wide awake and our hearts open. I know that on these Yamim Noraim, these days of awe, if you try hard, you can change your patterns, make small or big changes in your life, and you can succeed. L'shana tova tikatevu.